Okay, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm thrilled to be presenting our Building Mobile Interfaces for Industrial Applications webinar. It's a brand new webinar. For those of you who have seen our previous webinars like the Introduction to Groov, welcome back. For those of you new to our Groov webinars, this is actually kind of a second in a series where we'll be focusing on mobile interfaces. So my name is Benson Hougland with Opto 22, and we're broadcasting live from our headquarters in Temecula, California. Joining me is Ben Orchard. Howdy, Ben.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us.
So today's webinar will include an opportunity to try Groov from your own mobile device, so stay tuned. We'll provide a URL and a username and password during the Q&A session at the end, so you'll actually be able to use your own mobile devices to see what we're talking about here. And in a surprise twist, we'll also be giving away a brand new 5th generation iPod Touch 16 gigabyte at the end of this webinar. Totally compatible with Groov, but you must be present to win, so stick around and stay tuned. Okay, without further ado, I think the best way to get started is really to show you a quick demo of what we're talking about with Groov. I'm going to advance my slide here to a blank slide so I can bring up a browser. And this browser here is a Chrome browser, and it's showing an application which I'm relatively familiar with. It's my own house. But there you can clearly see that we have Groov running in there, and I can see some information about what's happening in that screen. But let's take a look at what it looks like on a mobile device, because that's what this is all about, is showing mobile connectivity. So let me go to there. Done. And let's drag this out here on the screen. So you should be able to see a small iPhone there, and that's simply just my reflector application that allows me to take what I can see on my iPhone and show it to all of you over the computer screen. So as you can see, it's a very similar screen to what's happening on the desktop view. However, it's certainly oriented differently because a lot of us use our mobile devices in portrait mode. All the information is actually laid out to be better suited for this mode of view. So the other cool thing about this is just like your mobile phone might be able to rotate, well, so can Groov, in this case the Groov iOS app. And so as I scroll down, you'll see everything is indeed been scaled just like it does on a regular browser. And again, if I scroll down here and switch to another screen, let's go over here to the weather station, and I just clicked on that hyperlink, and there you go. You can see the weather data presented in high-performance HMI graphics, but look down here, that's where I have my radial gauge. It takes up a lot of space. But if I look at this on my web browser, you can see it's actually laid out differently. So the whole point here is that I can lay this information out ideally for the device that we're going to view it on. So we're going to focus a lot on this notion of connecting up to mobile devices and getting those set up. So let me get out of this mode. So I'm going to scroll over and take that off. Okay, and move on. So what are the key enabling technologies that make this all happen? So the first one, of course, is the network. The network is obviously the critical piece, and whether it's an Ethernet network, a wireless LAN network, a mobile network. I mean, the point is that all of these various networks now utilize the IP protocol and allows all these different things to intercommunicate and interact with each other. So network is certainly a key enabling technology for these mobile connectivity. Of course, the mobile devices as well. Today's mobile devices are ubiquitous. They're everywhere. It seems that more and more people are using smartphones for virtually anything anything they're doing today, whether it's playing, working, even sleep in some cases. So clearly, a smartphone is one of the largest and fastest growing segments in the industry today. In fact, I read something recently that the power in a smartphone exceeds that of what took us to the moon back in the 60s. So there's an enormous amount of computing power in these mobile devices. So you have the network, you have the mobile devices. What else do you need? What's the last component that kind of makes all this, the last key enabling technology? Well, it's the web browser, any web browser. So here it clearly says the modern web browser, and if you look at browser technology today, think about what you're doing with the browser. Look at all the applications you can run with only a web browser. Things like Google Search, Gmail, Google Maps, Facebook, Twitter. I mean, there's so many applications you can run today that only require a modern web browser. So what do we mean by a modern web browser? How do we define that? Well, web browsing technology has come a long way in a relatively short time with the advent of these listed standards here, HTML5, CSS, and so on. And the good news is that most browser providers are now adhering to these standards, even Internet Explorer as of version 10. Now, much of this effort was not only to address inconsistencies among various browsers and the operating systems they work on, but also to address mobility. That is, the use of browsers on mobile devices like smartphones, tablets, and whatever the future mobile devices will bring us. And remember, right after this webinar, there's another one at 10 a.m. Pacific time from Apple, where they're going to, where they're expected to address, introduce a new mobile device. So as you can see by this chart that's coming up, this last one here is called SVG, and that stands for Scalable Vector Graphics Support. This is a big one, and as you can see, we're starting to see that SVG basic support across all of the browsers. So that line of green there indicates that most modern web browsers today are supporting something called SVG, and that happens to be really important, and here's why. Mobile screen resolutions. I just talked a little bit about Apple and them possibly introducing a new mobile device today. But the reality is there's only about 4 or 5 devices that Apple has. It's a single manufacturer with a single operating system. So developing screens for those might be something you could do. But take a look at the Android camp. You've got hundreds of manufacturers and hundreds of different screen sizes. So there's no way to have a fixed screen size that you can develop an application for. I mean, can you imagine developing your mobile operator interface in this many variations for your application? I don't think so, and we don't think so either. And yet, a lot of solutions today that are available on the market are based on a fixed resolution, and as a result, they present a very different experience on different devices. And you know what? I'm not even covering Windows phones or Nokia devices or Blackberries here. So that's why SVG matters. Modern web browsers with the standards I mentioned and this SVG capability, and we're going to give you another look at why that is so important. So, how do we do it? How is it done? How do we get to develop these scalable mobile interfaces for your industrial applications? Well, one choice is the HMI SCADA software. That's the common products that are available today in the market. A lot of them now have mobility add-on solutions, but the reality is they're pretty expensive and they're not terribly simple to use. And virtually every one that we've seen requires a browser plugin. This means that you have to have Silverlight or Flash or Java or something on your mobile device or on your computer to be able to view the screens. And guess what? They're fixed in size. So they tend to be very platform dependent. Some only work on iOS, some only work on Android. In fact, we've even seen one major SCADA package, HMI SCADA package, that only works on mobile phone, on Windows phones. So it becomes a very platform dependent solution. We don't think that's the way to go. So there's another option. You could roll your own, code it all from scratch. I mean, we are just using standard technologies here, right? HTML, CSS, throw in a little JavaScript, get an HTTP server going. You can see where this is leading. It's leading nowhere fast. And I know from personal experience that this is a very unmanageable way to do things. And frankly, it still only works on a few devices. So that's probably not the best way to go. So there is an easier way, and that's why we're here today. Groov is a solution for mobile monitoring and control. Any device, any screen size, any browser, and of course at any time and any place. But we had to make it simple. We had to make it simple for you to develop these screens for your mobile devices, and I'm excited to have Ben show you that in just a couple minutes. So once you build your application, where can you view it? Well, of course you can view it on any smartphone. That's why we're here. So all these various phones here that you see on the screen all come with a modern web browser and a network connection. The 2 requirements for a Groov app. Of course, tablets are completely covered as well. That scalability will scale to any size tablet, whether it's the minis or up to the larger tablets. And of course, a computer comes with a modern web browser and a network connection, so that will work. And here's where SVG and that scalability becomes really important. Imagine scaling from a smartphone all the way up to a high-definition television. So that's what we can do with Groov. All of those various devices and the application of these standard technologies allow us to distribute groove screens to virtually any device. And then what are the kinds of objects and data that you can see with Groove? Well, we have them grouped in really three main subject areas. The page objects themselves, which just allow us to orient the screens in a meaningful way. And then you have data objects. These are objects that we're bringing in from the field, in from our devices. That could include, a SnapPack control system, Allen Bradley control logics. With our forthcoming OPC UA connectivity, we can bring a lot of OPC data in, even IP cameras, which you've seen before. We also have, of course, control objects. So you can lay control objects on certain screens that you want to provide a control capability for, and that includes buttons, sliders, and text. Now, if we're talking about using a mobile device connected to an industrial application, that conversation's not complete if you don't address security. And we've baked security in at the lowest levels of Groove, and everything is done over secure socket layer. Of course, this is the same security you use at your bank. So it's a solid username and password credentialed SSL connection to get to Groove. And that's a very important thing. But there's also another way to provide an extra layer of security. We've had a lot of questions about accessing Groove from the internet. And we think that the best option for doing that is through VPN. Groove is not meant to be connected directly to the internet. It's not a firewall, it's not a router or anything like that. So the way to do this is to set up a VPN server. And here's the great news. VPN clients are included on virtually every mobile device available today. And it's pretty easy to set up. So once a VPN server is set up within your organization, you simply log in with VPN, username, password. Once you're VPN'd into the network, then you connect to Groove, username, password, and now you've really provided a very secure way of accessing your Groove application. Okay, in closing, I want to talk about one other thing, and Ben's going to give you a demo of this. This is called guided access mode, or what we call around here kiosk mode. And this is a really cool feature available on iOS devices, and Android has an application to do this as well. But it allows you to lock the device down to a particular application. And what this means is that you can start setting this up as possibly a user interface to your systems, to your facilities, to your machines, whatever. I mean, what we're talking about here now is possibly using these mobile devices as the operator interface. You've got Gorilla Glass, you've got a network connection, low power. I mean, it has all the ingredients necessary to make these a serious consideration for operator interface terminals. So Ben will give you a quick demo on that, and I think that's a terrific segue to hand it over to Ben. And Ben will give you a demo of everything we've just talked about.
Yeah, thanks very much, Benson. I'm just going to make myself a presenter here so that I can share my screen. There we go. So I've just arrested control from you there, Benson.
No problem.
And, okay, everyone, you should be looking at my browser now. Now I'm using Firefox here on my PC, and we'll stick with that one. Benson showed you in Chrome, and I'm running the Firefox here. So what we're looking at here is a screen that we actually built for a new video that Benson's going to tell you about. We're very excited about it, 5 minutes to mobile. And we actually made it functional because we were recording in the studio, and we needed to be able to turn the stage lights on and off as we were recording different parts of the video that's going to be up on YouTube. So we actually made this quite functional. We had the IP camera down there. I've just gone and pinched the IP camera and put it up here so that you can see my iOS device that Benson has kindly lent me. I'm an Android guy, but this AirPlay stuff is pretty addictive. And so you can see how the screen looks on the PC right there on your PC. But I also, Benson set me up with this reflector gizmo here. So there we go. On your screen now, you're looking at this iTouch. So as I scroll up and down on the iTouch, you can see how this screen is formatted just as Benson showed you, slightly differently on the iTouch or on the mobile device. So let's have a look at how easy this is to do, and just what's involved, and maybe some of the best practices as well of setting up these screens. So I'm about to do one of my all-time favorite things with Groove. I'm in Groove View. I'm looking at all live data here. I'm about to switch into the editor. I come up here, I click on the gear icon in the upper right. I'm an administrator, so I have permission to go into build. Check that out. Boom. We've just gone from complete view mode to a complete editor here where I can build and manipulate the screens. No PC administrator, no extra downloads, no lag. I've just swapped seamlessly between the two. I still get a kick out of it every time we do it. Okay, so we're looking at the PC view here in build mode. You guys were looking at that a moment ago. Up in the top middle, we've got desktop and tablet tab there is highlighted in white, and just next to it is handheld. So let's click on this. Now you can start to see the magic of Groove. You can start to see how Groove makes it easy to build these two views. If you want to think of it in the most simplistic terms, as Benson mentioned in the opening comments, handheld is for portrait because that's usually how you hold your smartphone. Desktop and tablet is landscape because generally that's what a PC or a tablet is laid out like. And you can seamlessly switch between the two. Okay, let's get stuck into it. The stage lights are downstairs in the studio. The camera's upstairs with me so that you can see my iTouch here. So let's add another button. I've got a learning center sitting next to me, and we can put another button in here because something really cool happens. I'm going to bump up my height a little bit so I can make a little bit of room for this button. You can see I'm just going to expand things down a little bit. Okay, I've made some room for a button. Let's go over, let's click and drag our button from our gadget palette. And let's hook it to the alarm button. So I'm going to select my tag chooser. I've only got one controller configured in this Groove box. There's the IP address. It's going to be a digital output point. You can see how all of this is sorted. And oddly enough, it's named alarm. We're done. Okay, that's hooked up to the controller. We're ready to go. We're just going to give it a nice name there, alarm. That's it. But watch this. If I go back to desktop and tablet, that button with that connection has automatically been added in the other view. That's pretty cool. So we can build and add in either view and the gadgets automatically get added. So here's our first tip. For your mobile user, fingers are bigger than mice. So our best practice advice is to make the button a little bit bigger. I'm exaggerating here, but I want to make the point. It's not a problem here in Southern California, but I've heard that this year's fashion accessory up north is going to be touchscreen compatible gloves for winter that's coming. So what I'm saying, stop, think about your mobile user, think about the environment they're in, and you probably want to make some of these gadgets just a little bit bigger than what you normally would because a finger is bigger than a mouse. So let's go ahead and save this now. And we switch to Groove View. There's the PC version. I might rearrange that a little bit here shortly. Let's bring up my reflector. And what I need to do now is I need to reload Groove. So I click on the gear icon and I've got my refresh. I hit refresh. It's going to go out and completely reload Groove and boom, there's our new screen. So you can see another really handy thing here with developing mobile. I can be sitting here at my PC. This handheld could be anywhere in the factory or indeed even remotely connected through a VPN, and that's how easy it is for them to update. So now, when I hit the alarm button, hopefully you can all hear the alarm through my microphone there. So I can just tap the screen and I can toggle that alarm on and off, no problem. That's how easy it is to get up and running. So you can see I'm going to go back into build mode here, and you know, we can, like I said, you know, maybe for neatness you just want to move this stuff around a little bit here and lay it out neatly. Now this is something that's really important. With Groove, you're not just stuck with the one view. You're not just stuck with the PC view, okay? It's not like using VNC TeamViewer or LogMe in to an existing HMI and you know, you're stuck on this small little screen and you're trying to do all sorts of pinching to zoom gyrations to try and make it work. That's not what Groove is about. You can easily and quickly lay out your mobile screens exactly the way you want. And it's crazy not to build both at once because it's so simple. even if you don't think, oh, look, I'm never going to log in with a PC, I'm building mobile-only screens, you can see how easy it is to build good-looking screens in both views. It's crazy not to build both. And then that way, no matter how you log in, Groov will automatically detect what view you need and will provide it. And this is a really big aid and a big help. Okay, so you saw how easy it was to turn the alarm on and off there on my iTouch here. Well, that's actually a bit of a problem. I'm sure you've all heard of the joke of butt dialing your friend, or something like that, butt dialing the mother-in-law. Sometimes not a good idea. Same deal with Groov. You don't want to bend over and accidentally turn on, a 2 kilowatt lift pump, or we're recording in the studio and the cameraman bends over to pick up a lead and accidentally turns on the stage lights. Yeah, that's not so good. That take is ruined. So Groov has got you covered, and what we've got is all of our data write gadgets have confirm buttons. So let's see this in action. And this is a good best practice for mobile screens. So our temperature set point, that's a data write. So come over to the gadget properties, we've got a confirm button. So we simply tick that, and we're going to get a nice little pop-up dialog saying, are you sure? The alarm button, let's put a confirm for there. Stage lights, let's put a confirm for there. Now we can go ahead and we can just save all those changes. I'm still in build mode here, but I can go back to my iOS device here. Let's reload Groov now. And there we go, we're reloading. Okay, so I'm still in build mode in my PC, but I'm still in view mode on my iOS device. So now when I hit alarm, I get this, do you want to execute it? Well, sure, why not? And there we go. I've just avoided a expensive embarrassment because we got the confirmation. The chances of the button getting hit twice is pretty unlikely. Of course, you hit no, and the dialogue there is just dismissed, but the point stays on. Ooh, there we go. So there's that SVG. I accidentally twisted that around, and you can see here in landscape, everything just rescales to fit, and we go back to portrait. That's pretty cool. Yeah, like I said, I think I'm getting addicted to this AirPlay stuff. Settle down, Benson. Okay, so let's have a look now at another best practice, and I can probably hear you screaming from here, we don't want our mobile users to have full control. No problem. Have a look at this. This is how easy it is for Groov to accommodate your requirements. So what we can do here is we've simply made the screen longer. Okay, so we've got the mobile screen has everything that the PC and desktop has. So if you don't want to limit your mobile users, if you're an admin, you're going to be very careful, just make the screen longer, and you can lay things out exactly the way you want. Now, what we're suggesting, if you want every control, just have a think about perhaps the order of things. So, probably the temperature is not that big a deal in the studio while you're recording, and you just want quick access to your studio lights button. So you can see how I've just quickly rearranged everything there. The desktop and tablet view has not changed. So we'll quickly save that and go back to our reflector device, and we'll reload Groov and have a look. We've still got all the control, but it's laid out, in order of priority of exactly what I need. So I can hit the stage lights, I can hit my alarm, and I can adjust my set point. So don't be afraid to make a long page if you want to give all your users full control. But again, what if you don't? Okay, let's concoct a scenario here. Bob, the boss here, loves Groov, but I'm not sure I want him turning the lights on and off or anything like that. So let's see how quickly I can build a monitor-only mobile page for a user called Bob. So have a look at this. So we simply go up to our pages here, right-click on it, and we're going to duplicate the page. Boom, we've got the entire page now copied. We've got two versions of them, and you can see they're identical between the two. I'm going to rename this copy here to be Studio Monitor. Okay, and what we're going to do here is we're very quickly going to just pull out the control gadgets. So I just highlight my 3 control gadgets, hit the delete button, and they're gone. Okay. Now I know Bob loves the camera, so we're going to pop the camera up front and center for him. You know, we're going to get rid of this title because we know where the camera is. We can see that, and we're going to put the temperature in here so that he can see what the temperature is. We're going to make this a little bit neater here for him. We're going to, whether or not it's recording or not, and you know, we all love the Groov logo here, so I'm just going to reduce the size of that down and get that on there. And we're going to send that to back, and there's a very quick Groov screen there, made out mobile ready, monitor only. Now it doesn't look too bad. You know, we can make the logo a little bit bigger in the desktop if we like. You can see how very quickly and easily we can clean things up here, and it doesn't matter now whether we log in mobile or whether we log in with a PC. We've got a monitor only page. So let's complete this by now adding our user. So we come up here to click on configure, accounts. I've already left it in there. I'm going to delete him, so we'll pretend he's not there. Okay, sorry about that. I was doing a test run earlier this morning. So we can see I'm in and I'm an admin. And if we go to pages, we can see that the studio monitor and our tips page here are all lit up there. So let's add our new user, and as you've already seen, we're going to call him Bob. I'm going to make a very low security but very mobile friendly single letter password, and I'm going to set him up as a kiosk operator so I can show you that guided access that Benson was talking about. And we're done there. So now all we have to do is restrict what pages Bob is going to see. So Studio, what we're going to do is we're going to leave that to be limited access, so that only administrators can get in. Now Bob's not an admin, so we'll make Studio Monitor all users can get onto that, and we're also going to limit Bob's access to the tips page. So you can see now when Bob logs in, he's going to be able to see the Studio Monitor, but because Bob is not an admin, he's only a kiosk, he's not going to be able to see those pages that have limited access. So we're ready to go here. So we click File, we save all changes. I'm still logged in as Ben on the PC, the administrator. So let's bring up my mirroring device here. Now what we've got to do is not just refresh, we've got to log in as Bob. So I'm going to log out Ben because I'm the admin, and we get our login here, and we're going to go Bob. And we've got our nice friendly account, and there we go. There is a monitor only page for the mobile user called Bob. He can see the temperature, he can see whether or not we're recording, flip that recording light off, and he can see what's the action that's going down in the studio. So no control, full monitor. And of course, you can see how easy it is to do the reverse. We've still got that original page, we simply copy it again, and we can maybe pull out the video because we've got a Road Warrior mobile user that doesn't want to have the bandwidth of the video, so we can pull that out, make a new user, and limit the pages to them. So that copying of the page is an incredibly powerful tool. You build up your deluxe page, and then you can modify it to suit whatever you need. Last thing I want to show you now is kiosk mode. So I've already gone into my iOS settings, and you can see in the video camera, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to triple click the home button, and it's going to offer, if I can actually, guided access is already enabled. There we go. And turn that off. Okay, so here's our guided access mode. Again, guided access. I was already in guided access mode. So we can, if we click on the gear icon, we can see that Bob can only log in because he's got that kiosk user. If he doesn't know any other login, then he's locked down that way. But right now, we're outside of guided access mode. He can still go home and things like that, and look at cat videos or play Angry Birds. So what we need to do is we need to lock him down. So we've set up guided access mode, triple click the home button, it's automatically enabled. Okay, this is a new feature on iOS 7. I've just, as we said, we've just picked this one up. So we need to get used to this iOS 7 a little bit, but there's a start and an end button here. So there we go there. You can see where we can, if Bob doesn't know it, then his only option is to cancel. If we hit the power button here on the top, we're still locked in. If we hit the home button, we can't go away. So we've locked down this iOS device now to just be Groove centric. He can't run any other applications, can't get to a web browser, can't play Angry Birds. It's the perfect operator interface. So just to wrap things up, I want to just review our best practices. First suggestion is to make the gadgets larger, because your mobile users will be using fingers, styluses, gloves, things like that. So don't be afraid to make them, so that they don't have to really focus and try and hunt and peck on small buttons. We highly recommend using confirm writes on data write gadgets, so that you're not embarrassed by getting in your car and starting something up that perhaps you shouldn't. Best practice number 3, make long pages if you want all data and in control, but put the important mobile data points at the top so that they're there ready at hand, and then they can scroll down for the lesser data points. And the last best practice is if you don't want all your mobile users to have full control, you can see how trivial it is to create custom screens and usernames to limit the control.
Don't forget to check out our videos on groov.com. Got a lot of them up there. We got a lot more in the pipeline, so we're pretty excited about that.
All right.
Once again, thanks everybody.